So I've waited till the third week of TGL before forming my opinion. I'm going to tell you what I think is good, what is bad, and my worry that this might not last. So to start this video, I want to make it very clear that as an older golfer, I am actually very open to anything that I think is going to attract a new audience to this great game of golf. I do think that we need to start appealing to a younger generation, and that is why, like I say, I am very much open to things like TGL and Live Golf if they are going to attract a new, younger audience to the game. Now, I've got an analogy here. Now, apologies to my American audience who might not understand this, because we're going to talk about the game of cricket, a game that I know is a complete mystery to most Americans, but just bear with me, you still might understand. So basically, 20 years ago, cricket as a sport was declining. 5-day test matches was the sort of utopia of the game of cricket, but no one was watching it. TV viewers was falling. The whole sort of money within the game was declining, and the sport was basically just starting to fizzle out. And to be, give some credit to the powers that be of cricket, they realised that they need to do something to engage with a younger audience, because everyone who was watching cricket was very old, and it was a very old traditional audience. So what they did was they started up a game called T20. So it was a test match would last 5 days, and T20 would literally be done and dusted in a matter of hours, and you could play 2 games in one night. There was music playing. It was a lot more dynamic. It was a lot more exciting to watch. So basically, Test match cricket is still, to this day, thought of as the purest sort of part of the game. But nobody is watching it apart from a very sort of older audience. And T20 cricket has now become a massive success story. It is where all the money is. A load of extra money is coming to the game of cricket. The sport has gone to a level that it's never been to before, and cricketers are now earning the sort of money that 20 years ago they could only dream of. Now, I accept that golf is not in that bad a place, but I do think there is a little bit of a sort of synchronicity in that analogy, as in 72-hole stroke play with a cut will always be regarded as the purest form of the game, and rightly so. But we can't ignore that the audience that is watching that is older, and it is falling. So I do think as a game, we need to do something that is going to start to boost the game to the younger audience, and then we'll bring a lot sort of, a newer generation of people to the game. And that is where I think TGL and Live Golf can play a part in doing that. So, like I said in the intro, I've waited till the third week of TGL. I've watched everyone, and I've got to say, I've actually really enjoyed watching it. First of all, let's talk about the build-out and the tech and the sort of facility that they've built there at this SoFi Centre. I mean, it is incredible. You've got to give them a huge amount of credit to what they've done there. That arena and that green that rotates, and the way that they've built that massive screen for the simulator, the whole look and feel of it, I think, is absolutely fantastic. And, I'm extremely impressed with that. I love the fact that they're playing off real grass. I love the fact that when they go in the rough on the simulator, then they drop it in a patch of rough, playing out of real rough. Similarly, if they go in the sand, I also love that when they go in the sand, depending on what bunker they're in, there's a automatic lip that flips up. This is all extremely impressive stuff. So first of all, for the tech and the build out for TGL, you've got to give them 10 out of 10. I suppose the one thing you could say about TGL is that it is very, very dependent on the tech working to give this some kind of authenticity as an actual competition. Now, in week 1, which was the week that Shane Lowry played against Ricky Fowler and everything, I didn't see anything in the tech that sort of made me think, oh, that's a bit sort of weird. That didn't quite look right. Everything seemed to be pretty good. And similarly, in week 3, I've actually only watched it halfway through so far, to be fair. But again, so far, I've not seen anything there that makes me think that something was a little bit amiss. But in the second week, when Tiger Woods played with his Jupiter Lynx team against the LA team with Max Homa, there was some definite weird tech gremlins going on there. And, the commentary that the players were giving didn't really help with that either. Tiger absolutely airmailed a green with whatever club he was hitting, and it switched back to him, and he actually said, I can't, it's impossible for me to hit this club that far. So obviously the tech had not picked the ball up correctly or whatever it was, and had given this like really abnormal reading. And then there was another one where Max Homa hit I think it was a drive, or it might have been a 3-wood, and he obviously finished his swing, and he was really happy with the shot he'd hit, and he was really happy with where it hit the screen. And then we went to it, and it was just like literally doing a big hook into a canyon and out of bounds. And, Max Homa was heard to be saying, there's no way that I hooked that. So that, they've got to make sure that that doesn't happen, because that then makes a mockery of it. It then means that you don't really take it seriously with what you're watching. If we're going to take this seriously as a piece of golf competition and get us to care about who wins, we've got to believe in the technology and believe in what we're seeing, as in the shots being executed. So what do I think about the future of TGL? Well, that is where I do have a little bit of a reservation. So it's definitely got some traction early on. From what I've gathered from a little bit of research I've done, the viewing figures on ESPN have been, pretty strong. And as an overall viewing experience for TV, I think it works really well. My one worry is that over time, we might just lose interest and get a bit bored with seeing professional golfers just hit into a screen. And that, when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about, maybe year 2, year 3. Are we still going to be as engaged in this as we are now? Because right now, it's something completely fresh. It's completely new. We're all intrigued by it. We're all kind of, like I said at the start of this video, like this build out that they've done is incredible. But once all that's gone and all that's become normal, are we still going to be engaged in this as a golf competition? I'm not so sure. My worry is that at some point, I'm just going to be like, you know what, I'm not really interested in watching them just hit into that screen. I'd much prefer to watch real golf on a real golf course. I might be wrong on that. One thing I think that will happen, because, whatever people think, at some point, the world of golf is going to come together. Live Golf and the PGA Tour are going to come to an agreement, and we are going to come all under one umbrella. And I guarantee you, when that happens, Live Golf teams will be invited to play in TGL, and I think that will give it a massive boost, because then that adds a bit of spice to it. That's when people will tune in and really get into the competition, whether you are supporting the PGA Tour side or supporting the Live Golf side. But I think if you had a match on TGL where, the top team on the PGA Tour side, let's just say that was, Justin Thomas's team from Atlanta looked really strong in this week's game, and they were playing against Bryson DeChambeau's Crushers or Brooks Koepka's Smash GC. That would be a fantastic thing to watch, and I think a lot of people would tune in to watch that. So I think, further down the line, if TGL is starting to sort of flatten out and this kind of early wave of interest is starting to wane a little bit, the introduction of Live Golf teams into the TGL competition could really give it another boost. The overall response to TGL, from what I can see, has been pretty positive across the board. There's obviously going to be some people who don't like it and some people who do like it. That's just life. That's always going to be the same in whatever you are talking about. But overall, the reaction to TGL, I think, has been pretty positive. Now, there's a lot of people who really sort of have got on the back of Live Golf and being extremely critical to it, who are being very positive about TGL, which I think is a very interesting thing, because, it's another golf competition that's completely different to the traditional game of golf. It's including teams, but, that in Live Golf they hate, but this on TGL, on a golf simulator, they love. It makes me wonder if Live Golf had launched TGL and launched the exact same product that we see before us now, But instead of Tiger and Rory being behind it, it was Live Golf that were behind it. And instead of the PGA Tour teams taking part, it was all the Live Golf teams playing part. I think the response to it would have been very, very much different, even though the product would have been exactly the same. You know, there's still that sort of tribal element to the Live Golf side and the PGA Tour side in all of this. And I think the quicker that this all comes back together and the PGA Tour and the Live Golf tours find their place within the golfing calendar, and something like TGL can benefit from everyone and all the best players in the world taking part, I think will be better for the game of golf. And I think it'll be better for TGL as well. Like I say, anything, in my opinion, that can engage a younger, new person, customer, player, whatever you want to describe them as, to the game of golf is a good thing in my mind. I also think it would be massively better if they were playing real golf holes on the simulator. So, you know, they play, the first will be the first at St Andrews, the second will be the 10th at Augusta. You know, another one might be from, you know, from whatever iconic golf course around the world. I think that would work a lot better rather than these sort of like computer-generated holes they've had to do. Now, again, I've done a bit of research on that, and they just can't get the permission to use those golf holes in this competition. But surely there must be a way around that. If they could do that in the future, I think that would also be a massive help. But yeah, in the short term, well done to everyone who's been involved with TGL. It's a very interesting idea. It's something completely new for the game of golf. And in my eyes, that's always going to be a good thing. Okay, get in the comments. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you in the next video.